morning students, welcome to BRGS online classes. I hope you all are safe and healthy. Kids, today we will be starting with a new lesson. So let's go ahead and see what we will be learning in today's class. Today we will be starting with a new lesson of history, and the name of the chapter is Impact of the British Rule. Student, as you know, the British East India Company during 1600 to 1757 was just a trading company, as we discussed in the previous lesson. Okay, before they had come here for trading, only for trading, but British came in with the trading interest and gradually developed political interest. Why they got political interest? Because they saw the people, or you can say they saw the kings of India. Okay, and when they had come here, they could see clearly that people are fighting for the throne. So what they did is they started to negotiating system. Okay, they started to get the negotiation that you help me for this, I will kill this person and you will get the throne. And they were the people who implemented divide and rule policy. In today's chapter, you will be learning about identifying the merits and demerits of the implementation of permanent zamindari system, Mahavari system and Raithwari system. Let's get started with land revenue policy first. Kids, before getting into the topic of land revenue policy, why it had happened? Since it had happened because the grant of Diwani for Bengal, Bihar and Orissa was given in 1765. The major concern of the East India Company's administration in India was to collect as much as revenue possible. Kids, in 1772, Warren Hastings introduced a new system known as farming system, which was also known as Izzadari. Kids, Cornwallis was therefore sent to India to look after in revenue administration. Kids, then later Governor General Cornwallis decided to fix the land tax on a permanent basis in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. The agreement he entered with zamindars for tax collection is called Permanent Land Revenue System. Under this system, the zamindars worked as government agents. With this, the company now had access to the permanent income from the agricultural sector. Zamindars paid a fixed taxes to the company irrespective of agricultural production. Okay, they didn't bother, the Britishers were not bothered whether the farmers are getting the proper crop or cultivation or it's been done or not, but they wanted the taxes which they have put on the land, and zamindar had to pay that taxes. Kids, the zamindars exploited the farmers by collecting excess land tax. They never gave attention to improve the agriculture output. The tenant farmers were forced to pay their share even though the crops had failed. The government didn't show any mercy on the farmers, and they had taken extra itself. Like if the crop was failed, it didn't go properly, but still they had to give the half of that to the zamindars. As a result, the agriculture output collapsed. Apart from this, the company made farmers further poor by forcing them to grow commercial crops that were needed for their factories. All this resulted in the growth of bounded labor. If a zamindar fails to submit the revenue from his land by the sunset of fixed date, his estate would be taken away by the Britishers. Now let's go to Raithwari system. The silent feature of Raithwari system is it was first employed by Captain Reed in 1792 in the Brahmahal region of Madras Presidency. However, Alexander Reed introduced it in the whole of Madras region and when he was a governor of Madras. Raithwari was extended to Bombay, Assam and Coorg also. It was effective in 51% area of British India. In Bombay Presidency, it was applied by Ethelstone, Chaplin, and Wingett. Riot means peasant cultivators were recognized as the owners of the land. And in this, the taxes were directly collected by the government from the peasants, that you can say the farmers. The farmers had to pay revenue between 45% and 55% to the company. Revenue was not fixed so that the government can increase the revenue in the case of more production. They didn't give the fixed prices for them. Whereas in the previous zamindar system, they had paid fixed prices, but in Raithwari system it was not. And the Britishers were very smart enough. They took this decision that in this system they will not keep any fixed amount, because they could, if the production is good, they could have increased the amount. Let's come to analyze the system. Kids, this system was very expensive in comparison to zamindari system. Okay, because in zamindari it was fixed, whether you grow good crops or not, you have to pay this amount, this particular amount was set. But whereas in Raithwari it was not there. The government had to know the accurate conditions of the land and agriculture, and had to fix the tax rate accordingly. For the whole for this whole exercise, they had to expand their revenue department. And due to Raithwari system, corruption increased rapidly among the officers employed in the system. Bribery was popular during the assessment of land by the officers. Now let's get to know about Mahavari system. Kids, Mahavari system was formally launched in 1822 based upon the regulation of East India Company Secretary Holt Magazine. It was used in around 30% of the area of including British India, including northwest provinces, parts of central India, Punjab, and Ganga Valley. Mahal means village or state. The land tax was fixed for the entire Mahal. The local zamindar was responsible for the tax collection from all the farmers in that Mahal. This system was implemented in Uttar Pradesh and the parts of Madhya Pradesh and Punjab in 1833. Total impact of land revenue system, where British converted land into a marketable commodity. Instances of land auction and sale increased. As land tax was to be paid in the form of cash, the money gained prominence. To increase the income, zamindar insisted on cultivating crops like cotton, jute, peanut, tobacco, sugarcane, and other commercial crops instead of food crops. It was profitable for the British as the commercial crops could get exported, but this resulted in food shortage because the farmers couldn't grow the crops they wanted. Instead, they were growing crops which was exported to the other country. Within the zamindari system, new classes of farmers arose. Now let's go to our next topic, English education. Kids, English education is an instrument that ensures individual freedom. Knowledge that is gained through education would lead to a better life. The universalization of English education profited the Indians. All classes of the society could have access to the education. Under the Charter Act of 1813, 1 lakh rupees was kept aside for education of Indians, but the government had not spent anything from it till 1823. The Indian thinkers and the Christian missionaries worked in the favor of modern education to Indians. At the same time, the company also had a different idea. It needed English educated Indians to work at lower carried of its office for less salary. They wanted to hire Indians and make them work for them at the lower salary. So it aimed at creating an educated class that was dedicated to it. Lord Maclauray and Charles Wood implemented the new education system with this aim. They was not helping Indians, but they educated Indian because only that because they could use them in their favor. Dispute over medium of instructions. Many of the English academians argued that the Indians should not be educated in their mother tongue. Some others argued that education is modern science and literature should be given through English medium. In 1853, the Governor General William Bentinck finally announced the education policy which opted for the instructions of Western science and English medium of instructions. The British formulated new education system in 1854. This was based on the report by Charles Wood. In a very short period, universities were established at Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras. The establishment of primary school, high schools, and the colleges were done stage by stage. Education departments were formed in regions to monitor and supervise education. English became an official administrative language by the year 1844 CE. The impact of Western education. Kids, the traditional system slowly declined. The new education system enabled Indians from different languages to interact among themselves. This gave inputs to the growth of national feeling. The European intellectual thoughts affected the Indians' thinking in a long term perspective. It also influenced the Indian literature and resulted in various literary movements. Many sections of the society were exposed to social awakening. Now let us see what was the economic impact. The Industrial Revolution that took place in Europe during 18th and 19th centuries had serious impact on the trade and commerce of India. The East India Company was only trade company till 1757 CE. After this, it used the political power to establish monopoly over Indian production and trade completely. As a result, the weavers had to purchase raw materials at high rates because they were forced to do this. The British commerce policy was aimed at facilitating the growth of industries of England only. They wanted India to be a net importer of factory made goods of England and net exporter of raw materials to England. Like whatever we had, the farmers used to grow, everything was exported to England. By introducing free trade, it forced the Indian cottage industry towards extinction. As the wealth of India flowed towards England, the whatever the profit India used to get, everything was taken away to England. India became a poor country. According to Dadabhai Navroji, wealth drained result in poverty. The British citizens invested money in India and made profit out of it. As a result of draining wealth, there was shortage of investment in India too. Adam Smith, the father of economics, has described the British in India as the plunderers. Now let us see what are the constitutional development was done by Britishers. See the Regulating Act. The constitutional reforms in India started during the British rule. The Regulating Act of 1773 is an important milestone in the history of constitution. The Governor General Warren Hastings implemented this act in 1773. This act became the base of British administration in India. This also gave a constitutions to the East India Company. Pitt's India's Act. The government of England was not happy with administrative system of India. it decided to concentrate on this issue. Hence, the Prime Minister William Pitt brought in an act. It included the East India Company as a part of the government and considered it as a unit. Many acts followed this act in subsequent years. That's all from this chapter. Thank you very much for paying attention. Have a great day ahead.